guys, how's it going? It's Al. Week 16 on DraftKings. We're going to talk about DraftKings Showdown and the Thursday night matchup between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the New York Jets. This game does not have a really high total. It's only sitting at like 38 right now. It's kind of a pick'em. Jaguars are favored by 1 point. Let's take a look at what we have on this slate. There's definitely some tasty options, though touchdowns could be at a premium. So nailing the touchdown scores is going to be extremely important when it comes to taking down this showdown. And touchdowns, as you know, if you've watched my content, are very random and a lot more difficult to predict than is volume. So I do things from a volume perspective, and then we hope that specific volume inside the 5 carries, end zone targets, red zone usage are going to be the things that lead to those touchdowns if things go right. But it's a great slate as far as dart throws. We're going to go over to Underdog Fantasy. We're going to build a pick'em sheet for this. So let's get to all of it. Thank you guys for being here. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Smiz Gang Listener League for Week 16 is posted. It's 3,000 seats. It is not available in the DraftKings lobby, and it is on the 10-game Saturday main slate. So you don't have all Saturday night and all Sunday to get in there. Christmas Day is Christmas Day. Christmas Eve is our Listener League. It's not in the lobby. Go to smizzle.tv/links if you wanted to go check out the Smiz Gang Listener League. $10 to enter, 3 max, $30,000. Absolutely no rake. I will shout out the top 10 finishers on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel next Monday on the Week 16 recap video. So definitely go follow that too. All the links that you need are there at smizzle.tv/links. Fill this sucker or it's going to get smaller in Week 17. Let's head over to Underdog Fantasy where we can fill out a pick'em card. If you do not yet have an account on Underdog Fantasy, why not? You can use that promo code ALSMIZZLE, ALSMIZZLE, all one word, and get up to $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. So go check out all the great products that they have over at Underdog Fantasy, the worldwide leader in best ball tournaments. They also have these great pick'em cards that we like to. I'm going to go higher than 220 passing yards there. I'm going to take Christian Kirk higher than 50. I'll talk to you about why in just a minute. Give me Zonovan Knight over 61 rushing yards, and I kind of feel like over 4 receptions. Let's go with a 4-banger here. They moved it. It's down here now. It used to be higher. You could use insurance if you want. That would kind of take you down to those sorts of payouts instead of these. We're going to do that. Go check out Underdog. They're awesome. And please take a couple of seconds. We're up to $47,000 raised on the season for No Kid Hungry. Go to smizzle.tv/charity. It also exists in that link tree at smizzle.tv/links. No Kid Hungry is trying to provide school breakfasts and lunches as well as at-home care to food insecure kids across this country. When we get to $50,000 raised, as you can see like right below me on the fundraising bar, that will trigger the next $10,000 match from me. This fundraiser ends on January 1st. So like December 31st is the last day to get us there. We got $3,000 to go to trigger that next match to try and help hungry kids all across America. It's the holiday season. Find a couple of bucks in your couch cushions. If you've had a good year, if you guys won, I know we had a lot of winners in the community last weekend. Take a couple seconds, go to smizzle.tv/charity. Every single dollar helps, but if you got more, that's great. You want to cover a couple of other people in the community that haven't had big years, don't need that tax deduction for the end of this year with tax harvest season being what it is. Smizzle.tv/charity can help do it all for you. $5, $10, $100, everything matters. So thank you guys for being a part of it. Let's get to the showdown. I'm not going to talk about the quarterbacks up top. We'll get to them and how to utilize them in just a bit. Christian Kirk, I'll talk about the optimal captains, and I think that there's more than normal. I've got like 7 written down. I'm going to get to why right now. The Jaguars have a lot of players and a lot of players that do a lot of things. Let's just specify to Jacksonville. There's some rain expected in this game. Monitor the weather. It's going to be cold everywhere this weekend. Weather is going to be a factor the entire week. It's cold all across the United States. There's blizzards everywhere. There's rain everywhere. I am not a weatherman, but I'm going to try and talk you through this. So like guys like Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne Jr., Zay Jones, Evan Ingram have all shown the ability to have multiple touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence is the type of quarterback who has been very, very efficient, is showing flashes at this point of being actually good. 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions on the year, 3,500 yards. Like he is really blossoming and still doesn't have an alpha wide receiver. As we move down the years, this summer he's going to be the guy that everybody's going to talk about to take like a massive leap in year 3 because they get Calvin Ridley. Maybe they're going to draft the kid. There's no real great wide receivers out there, but like getting what he's getting, out of guys like Christian Kirk, who I know they paid a ton of money, and Zay Jones, who was a throwaway option for so many people this offseason. Getting what he's getting and getting what they're getting out of a guy like Zay Jones, who fits into that professional wide receiver category for me. Like, he's not a game breaker. He's not an alpha. He goes out, he does his job, and he does it well. That kind of has to go on the system and on a lot to how good Trevor Lawrence is. The Jets are a very good team in terms of muting passes to the outside. Sauce Gardner is for real. Their other cornerback also very for real. Both of them grade very well in terms of PFF grades. They don't travel to the slot. And that's where Christian Kirk runs the majority of his routes. So to me, of all the Jacksonville options, Christian Kirk is the number one captain out of all the options on Jacksonville. He's also $15,300 to play at captain. If I'm going to use him there, I'm clearly going to tie Trevor Lawrence to him, because if he has one of those big days where he has like 8 catches, 2 touchdowns, 125 yards, and Trevor Lawrence more than likely going to be in that optimal lineup at the end of the day. It's going to be a little bit tougher sledding because of the weather, because of the Jets defense and everything that they bring to the table. It is what it is. But we've also seen massive days out of Zay Jones, because volume over everything, right? And like since week 10 targets, 14, 7, 12, 8, 100-yard bonus, 2 days, 4 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, including this 37.93 touchdown explosion, 11 catches for 145, 30 DraftKings points there. If he has a day like this, and I think it's less likely that he has this type of day, but not impossible for him to have this type of day, particularly against the New York Jets, because of where he runs his routes, you're going to have him at your captain spot. And it's a little bit more random. Same thing goes for Evan Engram. This sort of volume at tight end, 7, 15, 10, cannot be overlooked. He has to score touchdowns to make it happen. And because of how good they are on the outside, a lot of stuff could funnel towards the middle of the field in terms of the passing game, because Sauce is shutting down everything on the outside. So Marvin Jones Jr. is nothing more than a dart throw for me on this slate. And Zay Jones gets a bit of a downgrade. I do think that you should have some shares of Zay Jones, but I believe that if you're going to play passing game options from Jacksonville at captain, like Evan Engram, like Christian Kirk, they should be guys that run routes between the hash marks, as they have less of an efficiency downgrade and possibly a volume uptick in terms of how good New York is outside the hashes. Travis Etienne Jr. is also going to be an extremely popular option. The second-year player has shown a propensity for popping on film, for looking really good. Big play possibility, big splash possibility. I hate the fact that they have not thrown in the ball more than 3 times in all but 2 games this year. That's my own personal beef. Like, Travis Etienne Jr. looks and profiles like a young Alvin Kamara and a poor man's Christian McCaffrey. Not giving him 5+ targets a game is either one of 2 things, and I don't know the answer. It's either schematic. It's either just the way that Peterson runs his offense, when they don't script up and they don't draw up enough plays to get Etienne Jr. out into routes, or Trevor Lawrence doesn't like throwing to his running back, which I don't think is the case. So it seems more schematic than anything. He can get you there just because of his big splash ability, but like, we haven't really seen in the last month anything big from Travis Etienne. He did have big games against Las Vegas, Denver, and the Jets in 3 straight weeks after the James Robinson trade, but they have scaled back his usage. As you can see, 30 opportunities, 27 opportunities, most of them coming on the ground in those first 3 weeks after the Robinson trade. And then they have not really approached that sort of usage since then. 22, 16, 17. We need to see this same sort of like 20 to 25 opportunities, but it needs to be on 12 to 15 carries with 6, 7, 10 targets a game for him to be the perfect archetype for a DraftKings running back. I'm not saying he can't get there. It's just a weird situation. On the other side of the ball for the New York Jets, Zach Wilson at quarterback, because basically, have you seen that X-Men movie where the dude turned to jelly? You know, the congressman or the senator, like he turned to jelly and just kind of just splashed out. Like, that's Mike White's innards right now. He got folded in half. So Zach Wilson is once again your quarterback with all of his cheekbones and jawline and everything else, and like, he has not been good, unfortunately. He did have 23 fantasy points against the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit is one of the best. Them and Tennessee are 2 of the best defenses to play an opposing quarterback against for us in fantasy. Jacksonville also a very good streaming target for us. So the possibility for him to have a solid day here or evening here is not out of the realm of possibility. He certainly has enough guys, difference makers, to make something happen. Garrett Wilson looks like an absolute monster. And if Wilson can just get the ball into Wilson's hands, the law firm could do some very big things. Unfortunately, 4 of 9 ain't cutting it, right? We need like 6, 7 of 9 targets to be caught. But like so many off-target throws from Zach Wilson, that has been his albatross this season. But Wilson is certainly Garrett Wilson. I can't keep saying Wilson when they're both named Wilson. Garrett Wilson is definitely a viable captain target. And if Garrett Wilson is going to be that guy that I have as that captain, I am also going to include Zach Wilson along with him, because if he has that big game, he gets 8, 9, 10 targets again. What if he gets some that are more? What if he's just a little bit more on target this week? And he still has that 20 plus DraftKings point day. Every point matters in Showdown. You're going to have to tie him to that guy. Somebody else who has played a ton, and a lot of it is tied to Corey Davis, right? Corey Davis, full participant in Tuesday's practice. In the games where Corey Davis has sat out, Corey Davis, another professional wide receiver. That's not a knock. That's just a description, at least for me. He's not a game breaker, doesn't profile as an alpha. He's priced at 8,400 above 7,200 for Elijah Moore. Aren't you proud of me? I didn't call him Etwan Moore. 17 targets the last 2 weeks, 23 the last 3 weeks. And if Davis is there, Elijah's going to play less snaps. If Davis is active, but really just active, then Elijah Moore is going to play more snaps. He just can do more things than Corey Davis can. We need to see him on the field. He was very much living in the doghouse at the beginning of the season. They are a better offense when both Moore and Wilson are on the field. Davis, very professional, but his quarterback, less professional. I'm hoping to see these target numbers sustain. I think that Elijah Moore is a good dart throw captain option. He's not the optimal guy. The optimal guys being Kirk, ETN, Garrett Wilson would be the 3 optimals, possibly also Evan Engram in that. Elijah Moore, more of a dart throw option at captain who can score a touchdown or 2, as we've seen him do in the past. And Zonovan Knight also in that contrarian captain option. The rookie has been very, very good. I know that people are going to look at this box score right here and say, well, he didn't do anything against Detroit. But Detroit has been, for the last 6 weeks, an extremely good run-stuffing defense. That's really a thing. They're a pass funnel at this point. And you look at the teams that he has played against otherwise. Chicago, a team that we want to stream running backs against, very good efficiency. Minnesota, very good efficiency against them, not a good team. Buffalo has the reputation of a good defense, but since their bye week in week 7, they have allowed the most yards to opposing running backs after first contact. They went from the best team in the league in that statistical category to the worst team in the league in that statistical category. And now Jacksonville is another team that running backs can thrive against. So we're going to get a lowered number on Zonovan Knight. I think that he makes for a fine contrarian captain, as they do not project to play from behind very much in this game. A lot of neutral game scripts expected. They want to establish the run. He did play a similar amount of snaps last week in a game that was mostly neutral. Carter is going to play his snaps, but they view him like a J.D. McKissick, Nyheim Hines type. So Zonovan Knight does have touchdown and 2 touchdown upside, especially with as efficient as he has been and the big playability that he has shown. Bam Knight makes for a great contrarian captain on this slate. I can't possibly keep you up to date with everything that happens before the lineups tick off, so you should go and join our Discord. If you're a channel member here on YouTube, it's $5 a month. You can go to smizzle.tv/join and do that if you wanted to, if you are on iOS. Otherwise, right next to the subscribe button, there is a join button. You can become a channel member. You get a nice little VIP badge and access in the Discord to all the VIP channels that are in there. That is the best way for you to get the most out of this community and meet all the different members. The Twitch subscribers and our YouTube channel members all get together in our Discord right before every slate to discuss everything. Daily fantasy can be a very isolating game to play. So if you join that community, 7,000 members strong in our Discord that has been going and curated for the last 6-7 years at this point, we have a fantastic community for you to be a part of there And to get the most out of that, you need to become a channel member here on YouTube. Would highly recommend. Getting to the dart throws, I have 3 of them for you. I already kind of teased one of them, and then we're going to take a look over at Fantasy Labs and build everything else. I teased one of them. Marvin Jones Jr. running outside in a tough matchup. Not a lot of targets, so he is going to be the forgotten man in this Jacksonville passing game, but has always been a good end zone target, very good at boxing out, very professional wide receiver, just can't operate as an alpha. But he doesn't have to in this offense, as everybody else has rolled over to try and stop Kirk, try to stuff the box to stop ETN. Everybody has to worry about Zay Jones recently, so Marvin Jones gets to run somewhat freely. Got 6 targets last week, 4 targets the week before. If he finds the end zone in this one at 7,500, he is not going to be over 25% played in this game. Not necessarily an injury play, but obviously he would, 7,500 was his captain price. He's not 7,500, was MJJ. Jamal Agnew at 2,000. He is on the field a little bit. He has definitely flashed big play upside, both as a kick returner, which you get points for if he returns a kick for a touchdown, especially in a lineup where you might have the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, which is certainly in play against any time that you have a quarterback like Wilson. Playing Jamal Agnew, if he returns a kick for a touchdown and you have the Jaguars defense in that lineup, you get the double dip. You get the points for Agnew for scoring a touchdown. You get the points for the DST returning that touchdown. So you get 2 touchdowns in one. The double dip is greatly underutilized when it comes to guys like Agnew, who are not just kick returners, but also getting some usage on the field that also have big playability and have shown if ETN misses any snaps in this game, he will become a very key option at his price point. And the last dart throw that I have for you, one of my favorite names. Tyler Conklin saw only 2 targets last game, coming off of 15 targets the 2 weeks before that. He is the better passing option out of these 2 tight ends, but because CJ Uzomah had that 2 touchdown game last week, everybody's going, oh, everything's shifted. It's Uzomah now that's the number 1 guy. Wilson only likes to throw to Uzomah. Like, I don't know, is it Uzomah or Uzomah? I all apologies, CJ. It's my bad. I'll call you CJ. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but like 40% snap expectation for CJ as opposed to Gronklin, who is still playing the vast majority of snaps, who is running more routes, who has a higher yards per route run on the season and a higher pass routes per quarterback dropback than CJ. So Gronklin, coming off of a disappointing week, is going to be a solid dart throw this week at only 3,200. So those are the dart throws for us. Let's go look over at Fantasy Labs. If you do not have an account at Fantasy Labs and you wanted to become a subscriber, very easy to do so with a discount if you go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. I'm sure it just flashed on the screen. Producer Rosie does a fantastic job. I usually do not allow the kicker or defense at captain in low total games. I do think that it's more viable, and if you wanted to, you can just allow that to click on if you do. And let's take a look at the rules that I use. I have 5 that are always set. If you use a captain quarterback, I probably will not be doing that on this slate. Typically, I will max my captain quarterbacks unless they're unicorns at like 5% max. Guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, I'll let them go up to like 15% on most games. But these quarterbacks don't really have, in my opinion, that great of a chance to, because probability versus playing percentage, how many people are going to play them in the tournaments. I think it's going to be massively overrepresented with captains because of how much they pop in optimals to be the optimal captain. So I'm probably going to mute this, but if I have them, I'm going to have at least 2 of their pass catchers and kicker from that same team. Pair your captain quarterback with a skill position player from the opponent. If you use a wide receiver or a tight end in your captain, pair them with their quarterback, because if they have that quarterback or that captain optimal day, the quarterback is getting dragged along for the ride and probably had a day where they have to be in that lineup as well. And you can limit to, I limit to at most 1 defense or kicker from the same game. If you want to bump this to 2 because it's a low total game and Wilson is more than likely to turn the ball over and get sacked, go for it. We'll build 150 lineups, apply those settings, generate, and realize that you're not just going to go to Fantasy Labs and click generate and just start printing money. It's going to take you a lot of time to manicure and curate all of those allocations, your combinations, and your correlations that you want to get throughout your lineup. So go to smizzle.tv/labs with the uppercase L and check out all the great products and content and projections for NFL, college football with bowl season upon us, NBA, college basketball, MLB when it starts again, and golf, MMA, NHL, everything. The 8-month subscription is the best value per dollar. It'll take you all the way up to the beginning of next football season as well. I wish you the best of luck this Thursday. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.